Let's hit it. Welcome, first-time listeners and returners to the Sports Deli, where everyone deserves a seat at the table, especially our next incredible guest. So grab your favorite deli sandwich or bagel and your favorite beverage, and let's do this together in the Sports Deli. We're so honored on this 24th day of Black History Month to welcome our 28th professional women's basketball player, the pride of Emerson, Arkansas, as some people pronounce it, Arkansas, a very, very, very small town of less than 400 people, Rosie Walker. After high school, she went to Panola College, where she won a pair of National Junior College Athletic Association titles in 1977 and 1978, while being named a two-time All-American during both seasons. She was also the MVP of the 1978 tournament. She then transferred to Stephen F. Austin University, where she was a two-time Kodak All-American. She set 10 records during her two-year career at Stephen F. Austin. She was a member of the 1980 U.S. Olympic team, even though she didn't play a single game. And later you will hear why and the rest of the story. She also represented the United States at the 1979 Pan American Games, where she won a gold medal. When gas was 63 cents a gallon and Terry Bradshaw was the best quarterback in the world, Rosie played in the original W, leading the Nebraska Wranglers to a league title in 1981 over the Dallas Diamonds. She averaged 26 points per game, 14 boards, while shooting nearly, get this, 70% from the floor, while scoring 39 points in the decisive Game 5 of that finals to bring the crown home to Omaha. Interestingly, they were originally supposed to be the Colorado Wranglers. She was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in 2001 and is a member of 6 Hall of Fames. She was born the same year as Vanna White, Melanie Griffith, and Spike Lee. She's Michael Montgomery II's mother, who we just had on the show, former NFL star. She has a heart and passion for children. She was a coach and teacher after her professional playing days were over, and you can find her on Facebook, but by invite only. Rosie, we are so honored to have you in the Sports Deli podcast today, where everyone deserves a seat at the table, especially the women of the WBL.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here.
Oh, absolutely. It's my honor to have you here.
I want to go over how I got started playing basketball.
mm,
I was born in Emerson, Arkansas, 350 people,
mm,
with 12 other brothers and sisters to Maggie and Theodore Walker. And what happened was everybody would meet up at our house, all the guys, girls just didn't play basketball. They would come to our house to play basketball. But the only thing we had to play basketball, we had a barn, we had a bicycle tire held up on the barn with a nail and clothes hanger wire. And then we had a flat basketball where, and when the ball went flat, you couldn't walk. So you had to learn how to cut to get to the basketball, because if the ball didn't have air in it, you're not going to walk because you become walk. That's how I got started, from small beginnings to a barn, a nail, a hanger, and a flat basketball and the bicycle tires. Back in the days, I appreciate my mother and father and them. They taught us to look at everybody as human beings, and not to look at people different. And we was taught to respect and love, and to honor each other, back in the days. And it was just so much different from today growing up than back in those days.
Can you elaborate on that? Because, when you say that, it sounds like that's the opposite of what should have been happening. It should have been the white people that should have been talking about treating everyone equally. And if anything, the black and brown community had every reason in the world, even today, to, as Jane Goodall has said before, she doesn't even know why blacks talk to white people, considering everything that's gone on in our history. So I find that amazing. I know your son Michael talked about that as well, but can you elaborate the difference between then and now?
Yeah, see, then, when we played, we was taught to honor the adults. Whatever the adults told you to do, you did it. Whether they were black or white, we was told to do what they said. And even though I really didn't feel like a racial issue until later on in life, and I got to thinking and looking back, because I remember the first time I got a district all district player. I was in the 7th grade. They were like in 71. My coach got that trophy that night after the game, and the next day on the way to the bus, trophy. He didn't give me the trophy in front of the team. So I really received that. And then I got all those honors, all district for all those years. And not one time I never thought not one of them was presented in front of the basketball team till I got in like the 10th grade. So, and it's talking about speaking to I just love people and learn to respect people for who they are. And one thing I know, we cannot do nothing about the heart of a man. Only God can change the heart of the man. And he commissioned us to love one another. And that's what my mother and father taught us. No matter how bad you're treated, to overcome evil with good. And you make sure that you treat that person nicely, even though they're being mean to you. And you know, we as black people, we had a lot to go through and still got a lot to go through. But one thing I do know is I'm going to treat everybody nicely, regardless how they treat me. I'm not responsible for other people. I'm only responsible for Rosie. So we just got to love each other for who we are. I don't care. When we all bleed red. But how could you hate somebody because of the color of their skin? I feel like that's a form of ignorance. And that's just what way I look at it. How could you have so much hatred in your heart because my skin is brown?
So you have a really good foundation in terms of your upbringing. You had great examples. And what about the basketball part of everything? How did you really develop a love for the game and evolve as a basketball player?
Back in those days, girls were not allowed to play basketball with the boys. We could only look.
Wow.
And my
Really?
daddy,
Even
now
on your own property?
yeah, now my daddy, it was my
Wow.
daddy. Now, girls, you could look, and after the guys got through and left and went home, me and my sister, and sometimes my mother would get out and play with the little daylight we had left, but girls was not allowed to play with guys. Those guys were so talented that came to our house to play with
Wow.
the ball, a nail, a hanger, and a flat basketball and a
Unbelievable.
bicycle tie. They were so talented. I learned how to set picks. I learned how to pick and roll. I learned how to move without the basketball
That's
just
unbelievable.
and when that ball got above my head, I know not to bring it down because I sat and watched those guys for years play
Unbelievable.
basketball. And that was such a blessing. Those guys had talent, but see, they didn't have the opportunity that I did. Yeah.
Unbelievable. That is fascinating.
And another thing, my coaches taught me a lot,
Sure.
but because I had seen it done so many times, it was so easy for me because I had watched them set picks and rolls,
Yeah,
and I
right.
had watched that. It was so easy. Back in those days, you know, my mother and father, we was like the Waltons.
Wow.
It was a lot of us. We didn't fight, we didn't fuss, we never heard our mother and father curse.
Wow.
Uh, and it was just they treated us with one. I think one time my sister said her and my brother got to fighting, but it wasn't no fussing, no bickering. It was back in the days, and because they raised us like they had that grip. They had the threat. They could just look at
Right.
us, and we knew.
You get the look. Point. You just talked about the 60s. And, Martin Luther King really didn't have as much popularity back then as he does now. He had more popularity after he died.
Yeah.
And so how was it in the 60s? I think you answered this in part. You operate from love. Your parents taught you to just see the world, in a way where everyone's equal. But did that impact you? Martin Luther King's death and Malcolm X's death and John F. Kennedy's death, who was, advocating for equality in his own way back in the 60s?
Oh yeah. See, I was really young. I
Mm-hmm.
was like
Probably
what?
12, something like that,
Yeah,
right?
it's 11 or 12 or
Yeah.
something like that. And you really didn't understand what was going on, but we did know that he was killed, Dr. Martin Luther King and the Kennedys,
Hmm.
and we didn't know about Malcolm X. I didn't know about Malcolm X, but I do know what the teachers was crying the day that Dr. Martin Luther King and the Kennedy got killed, because
Wow.
they knew they was fighting for equal rights, and they was saying they was trying to get us the same opportunity as the Caucasian had, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's mainly why they died, because they was just trying to do the right thing. And you know what? Our ancestors, look at all that stuff they had to go through. Beaten, hung, babies cut out of them. And I mean ran over and thrown in rivers, and all of this. I mean, they went through a lot for us to be here today, and we still have a long way to go. It ain't over. We still have racism in America and all over the world because of the color of our skin. And who would look at somebody and absolutely take a gun and shoot and kill them because of the color of their skin? Who would take somebody and beat Emmett Till, his face is unrecognizable, and throw him in a river upside down because of your hatred? What kind of hatred is that? I don't understand that kind of hatred.
Yeah, well, we can't simplify it, in a few sentences or a few minutes here on the show. But
Yeah.
like we said earlier, it's something that is learned.
Yeah.
You're just not born with it, and it is a generational thing.
And it's just like slavery. Back in the days, they come get us and bring us over here and treat us worse than dogs. And it is so much easier to love than to hate.
Well, and to take it several steps further,
Yeah.
knowing what we know now, it's counterintuitive to not have everyone with a seat at the table, because why wouldn't you want to have different cultural perspectives, different educational perspectives, different upbringing and their perspectives? Because it allows you to think of things that you wouldn't have thought of by yourself. You actually become a better version of yourself when you allow other people to be a part of something bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
And you know that, and I know that better than anybody, being involved in sport,
Yeah.
is that when you can look at different perspectives and come together for a common cause, it's amazing what a small group of people can do to change the world.
Yeah, that's true. Don't let
Mm.
small beginnings throw you off. You never know what can happen in life if you just go for it. Just give it your all, put your heart in it. That's what I tell everybody. Find out what your gifts are, find out what your talents are, and work them. That's something I did not do. Once I got injured, I couldn't coach, I just stopped. But I look back, there are so many other things that I could have done. But my heart was speaking to young kids, loving young kids, increasing their self-esteem, and building on themselves. And don't lie. If you don't look or smell like somebody else, you don't know what the future holds for you. Just keep going, never stop, never allow anybody mouth to tear you down where it's going to make you stop with life. Life is so precious and it's so short. Always be your best. Be your best self.
Preach.
I never encountered any racial problem. The only problem I had is like when I wouldn't play a basketball player on a that a mother thought was should be on a team, and I would put her on uh, I didn't play her, but
Oh, Lord.
all my kids, my I loved all of them. They loved me. They hugged me.
Mm.
We cried together, and I honestly love teaching. Those kids was the best gift that God have given me,
Mm.
along with my children. And I didn't look at my kids as a Mexican, or black, or white, or Puerto Rican. I looked at them as children, and their mothers sent them to school for us to treat them fairly and to teach them.
Mm.
And then, was I the smartest teacher there? No, but I felt like I was the best teacher qualified to love those kids and show those kids in the right direction. Because one thing I did, I never smoked, never drink, never used drugs, never been the one that, just run around, steal or do anything. And I thought I was a prime example for those kids that I can tell them, don't allow peer pressure to get the best of you. So my heart desire was going from school to school, church to church, talking to our young kids about not bound down to peer pressure. Make sure when you get with somebody, if they're doing wrong, you can walk off, or you can tell them, I'm not going to get involved. If you don't change your ways, I'm leaving. But don't succumb to peer pressure.
Did you talk to any of those kids years later, and did they ever come back and say, I can't thank you enough for what you said that day and changed my life forever?
Oh, yes, I have had several of my kids come back and thank me. And, one time I did a speech called Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places: Sex, Drugs, Alcohol, gangs, cults, and just looking for love in all the wrong places. You don't have to succumb to that, because love is free. You don't have to do anything. You can just be yourself and be loved. If they can't love you for who you are, all those other things is just a form. And one thing, when you get in trouble, those people that are around you, they're not going to be there for you. So you got to make sure that you love yourself first. You cannot love anybody until you learn to love yourself. And that's what I have learned down through the years. I love Rosie, so I'm going to teach others to love themselves.
Man, that should be a bumper sticker.
Yeah, thank you.
So, but what tool did you help the kids that were having the toughest time put in their toolbox to help them love themselves when they weren't even close to understanding how to do that?
I was at, it's not considered as a school. What it is, it's considered as children. There are some kids that are being taught at their parents' house how to love themselves, how to take care of themselves. And then there are some are succumb to drugs and alcohol, no lights, no gas, no car, no good home to go to, and physical and mental sexual abuse. And those are the kids that come, and you can mainly look in a person's eyes and tell when they have succumbed to hurt and pain, because the eyes would tell a whole story about a person if we would take time to look in the eyes of people. So it was those kids that it wasn't a certain school, it was those kids. I looked for those that felt like they was downtrodden or didn't feel like they was loved, or didn't feel like they have, or sometimes they may didn't have their best hairdo or the best clothes or the best shoes. Those are the kids, I made sure I gave special attention to.
Man, that's powerful stuff. Well, they certainly felt your vibration.
Oh, they loved me. And I taught so much.
I love it.
And I only had like really 7 really disciplined problems, and I always come out victorious because I told them I'm gonna win regardless.
Absolutely. Don't mess with Rosie.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to me what you're talking about, because everybody has a why. I had my why, you had your why, and you helped so many people find their whys. And so it really doesn't matter how you get your why, but you certainly used love as the foundation to help everybody find their why. That's amazing.
That's right.
Wow. Oh, so how talk about the coaching part, because I find that fascinating, having started my 30th year of coaching. And what'd you learn about yourself having coached? And you coached high school ball, right?
Yeah, I coached junior high. Once I was at the high school, I went to the junior high so I can go to Little Mike's football games when he got in college. But mostly, I did coach some junior high, and then I coached some high school football, basketball. But it was amazing me coming from the Olympics, and they didn't have all the All-American and just to share that knowledge with those kids. And I had some good teams, and the problem was, when I trained them, if you JV coach, somebody can come take them, but I was so ecstatic to see those girls play on such high level. I mean, some of the kids had talent and some of them didn't, But you know, one thing about a child, just like a computer, you can build them and program them into where you want them to go. You may have three good players, but you may have two players that don't really as not good players, but you can program them to go. I have had some successful seasons in my basketball career, but in my basketball coaching.
Yeah.
But you know, at that time they you started if no pass, no play. And that's where a lot of trouble came with our kids not passing their grades. And when they came up with if you can make 70, that's all. And then that's a coming time. That's all the kids just wanted to do. They was just wanting to make a 70. And I remember telling little Mike all the time, don't no 70 go to D1 schools. I said, go in there and get your grades up. But no, mama, all I got to do is make a 70. And he come back and said, mama, you know, I wish I had to listen to you. You was right. So 70s do not go to D1 schools.
Absolutely. And she's talking about C's, everybody. 70% is a C. So strive for the B's and the A's. Like, why would you strive for the C's when you can strive for B's and A's, right?
Every home don't have that role model to speak to their child and try to help their child. And that's why we got our church and we got the public schools or private schools where they're liking at home. They're where the public school and the church and the private school should try to fill in and help our kids. But somehow along the way, because of the behavior problem that they have in the classroom, they have lost, it seems like they have lost that zeal for them to learn because most of the time is spent in discipline. Not in my class. I
oh, and I know that's right. So you talked about the Olympics and the impact that you had on the kids. You know, I'm sure they loved hearing your story. But tell everybody why you didn't play a single game in the 1980 Olympics.
We didn't play a single game in the 1980 Olympics because at that time it was boycotted.
So it was supposed to be in Moscow, and Russia was invading Afghanistan. But so you made the team. So, but did you feel like you were an automatic shoe-in to make the team, or talk about the process because I'm fascinated by that part of it.
Yeah, the process, it was like 800 kids, 800 players show up to try for the Olympics, and out of 800 people, you got to choose 12 people out of 800. And,
okay, but how many out of the 800 could ball though?
There were a lot of good players, but
wow. Because this is the first Olympics after the first Olympics. 76 was the first. Yeah. And so this is the first one after. So the 76 sparked a lot more interest. And, you know, we're 8 years into Title IX at this point. So women's, sports and the women's Olympic team is starting to get some traction here. So this is an amazing time to have this huge influx of talent.
Yeah.
Wow. 800 people. Unbelievable.
And it was just a bunch. I mean, the gym, it was it was full. And, I went in there never thinking I would be one of the 12. All I know is that if I was chosen to be one of the 12, I would make the Olympic team. And all I know is I went in there and did my best. Just like everybody else.
Right. I'm sure you did. But full transparency, the Olympic coach was Sue Gunner, right? Yes. And she was your college coach at Stephen F. Austin. So we got to make sure we don't leave that part of the story out. So you had a little bit of
I made it because of Sue Gunner.
And when Deborah DK Thomas was on the show, she talked about her love of Sue Gunner and what a pioneer she was. So tell everyone a little bit about her, because like I said, we need to know the history of the women's game. I'll be honest with you, before a couple of years ago, I didn't know the history of the women's game, even though I've been on the women's side for 15 years now. So why did Deborah DK Thomas and you, why was she so adored as a white coach back in those times, especially by the black players? I find that incredible.
Yeah, because before I think Deborah Kay, I don't think it was never a black college player at Stephen F.
Right.
Basketball player at Stephen F. Austin.
Right.
And I can remember when I first went to Stephen F. Austin, Coach Gunner used to holler and scream all during practicing. And I would be so afraid because I was not used to all that screaming and hollering. And I said, Lord, I got to go to practice again. This is the meanest lady I think I ever seen in my life. And so what happened one day, she had me to bring some paperwork to her office. And I rushed in. I was going to throw it on the desk and rush out. She seen me and said, Walker. I said, oh, Lord.
Walker.
Woman, come on. And I went in there and sat down and talked with her. She was one of the nicest people. And from that day forward, I looked at her in a different way. I didn't have any kind of hatred or anything for her, but I knew she wanted the job done. When you hit the basketball court, she didn't want no plans. She didn't want none of this. She was out there to win, to go somewhere and defeat other teams. She was just out for a victory. She wasn't out to play or anything. But she, just like I said, Deborah Kay, and I think when me and several of the other black girls came in to Stephen F. Austin, I didn't go in looking for favoritism or see what race she treating better than the other race. I was at Stephen F. Austin to play basketball, and a whole lot of people had came to me and told me some stuff about they didn't recruit players. I said, I'm not here for who recruited who. I'm here to play basketball. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to listen to my coaches. I'm going to go out there and do the very best. I cannot change because they didn't recruit black players before I got there. It's nothing I could have said or nothing I could have done. But I went to Stephen F. Austin to play basketball on a higher level.
Absolutely. Did you encounter any craziness from either the home fans or the away fans in terms of things you just had to ignore? And
oh, Lord Jesus. My home fans good. Away from home. Oh, man, they call me all kinds of names. One time they said, Rosie Walker looked so strong. She looked like King Kong, like she could pick up one side of the gym. And they would call me just all kinds of names. I mean, hey, is that girl, when I played pro, hey, is that girl your brother or something? And y'all brothers or something? It was names, but you know what? I never took it out on the fans. I took that fuel to make more points or to get more rebounds. I said, absolutely. I'm not going to breathe ignorance with ignorance, but I know what I can do. If I see a rebound come off that board, I'm going to points, and I'm going to shut your mouth. And 90% of the time, their mouth will close.
Oh, absolutely. You grabbed a lot of rebounds and scored a lot of points. Dominant post player. That's what I'm talking about.
And I was the shortest post player. I was 6'1".
6'1", yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, the sad thing, I didn't know I was that good of a basketball player back in those days. Up until a couple of months ago, I pulled out all of this stuff, and I began to look at it. I'm saying, dang, I was a good basketball player.
It's amazing.
And what sports had done for me. It had taken me in the United States, places I wouldn't have never gone. I've been to, I wrote Hong Kong, Korea, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Italy, and Switzerland. Because of my basketball, I shook hands with the president of Carter of the United States. I've been to the White House a couple of times. It have taken me places I never would have gone if it has not been for this basketball.
I love. Wait. Who's on that ball? You got a lot of names on that ball. Wait, hold on.
You got Vivian Springer. You got Van Fischler. You got Latanya Pollard. You got Rosie Walker, Holly Wallach.
Oh my God.
And you got Phyllis Holm. You got Linda K. Sharp.
Wait, is that a Hall of Fame ball?
Yes, this is the Hall of Fame ball.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible.
Yeah, and I had brought and let me pull this around. I was wanting to
Oh
show
yeah,
you.
pull some stuff out because some people are going to be watching this and some people are going to be listening. But for the people watching, and for those of
Yes.
you listening, maybe you want to go watch the YouTube version because you don't want to miss looking at some of this stuff.
This is my first Hall of Famer. This is at Stephen F. Austin State University. That was in
Wow,
1986.
amazing.
Okay, and then I have, oh man, this is the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame trophy. Oh, Lord, this thing is so
Unbelievable.
heavy.
And where is that located? Nashville, Tennessee?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yes. And this is the Panola College
Wow,
Hall of Fame.
that's
thing.
amazing. Now, that's a community college. That's incredible.
And this one was, this is where I got Athlete of the Year here in 1979, 1980.
Amazing.
And this was the national. They gave us this ring, Junior College Hall of
Wow.
Fame.
Wow, you got a ring for junior college? Man, y'all had some
Yeah.
money. What is going on?
But that was in 2002.
Okay, I got you. It was a few years after the fact. Okay, got you.
And this the hangs under in 1979-80 season. I got most valuable player in the All-Star game here. And let me give you my
Wait, which All-Star game was that?
That was the Hangs Under All Classic All-Star.
Oh, for the All-American. Well, that was at Stephen F.
Stephen F. Austin. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's incredible. Man, that ball looked like a WNBA championship trophy. That was amazing.
That's I got most valuable player.
Wow.
Let me make
Look
sure.
at that thing. That thing.
Outstanding player under All-American Classic, March 31st, 1979.
Wow. I was 10 years old and 21 days.
Boy, that's what I had to bring in a sheet. And
yes.
Where I got my jersey retired at Stephen F. Austin.
Wow.
I was in.
Wait, so it's in the rafters?
Yeah, it's in the rafters at Stephen F. Austin. And that's all.
Do you go back to Stephen F. Austin and talk to the players and
No, I haven't. I got kind of injured,
okay.
know, and I'm having trouble with my walking and stuff. But
oh boy.
This is what we got for the WBL when we was honored in Tennessee. A little pin.
A pin. Oh my God. Well, the history of the WBL is legendary. So even though it's a little pin, it's a huge part of the history of women's professional basketball.
At least we was honored.
Absolutely.
And they know that we was the Trailblazers. And
yes.
That we was honored. I appreciate them. And I don't know if you can see this. This is
oh, look at that picture.
You remember?
That's amazing.
Now let me show you. I'm throwing a hook on her here.
Oh, look at that.
Jumping and she's on the floor and she about to block my shot.
Who is that trying to block it?
This is 7-2 Russian.
Wow.
And I had to guard her. And we had and her teammates like 6'9", 6'8", playing close. And the point guard was 6'5".
That's unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you were playing them as an exhibition.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible. Man, thank you for sharing all that. That is historical. That's unbelievable.
Thank you.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. When you were playing for the Nebraska Wranglers, how do you obviously remember Connie?
Yeah, Connie Coons.
And that, for those of you that don't know the story, I don't know if anyone knows the whole story, but she was pronounced dead while you were playing during that 81 season. And how did the team handle that? Did they come together? Did you feel like that brought you closer together? Terrible situation.
Well, it brought us close together as a team, and it also made us aware that there are people out there that's not too nice. And it took almost how many months, 5 or 6 months, just to get her body out of the water. And we never really had a chance to grieve because
Right.
we was hoping they would find her. Nobody wanted to believe that she was gone. And we was, every time we went to practice, we was expecting for her to
Ugh.
walk through the doors any minute.
Ugh.
And because she loved the game of basketball. And if you would did an interview with her, and she was so proud of her team, she loved basketball. And the guy that did it never served a day in jail because it was the what is it called? The chief of police son. Never served a day in jail.
Unbelievable.
That's unbelievable. Yes.
Ugh. What can you tell us about Connie?
Connie, she was a nice, even though she was from Iowa, she was one of the
Even though she was from Iowa.
nice. And she worked, she literally was the glue that held, the team together. Even though there was,
And she was white, right?
yeah, she was white. And
Right.
she had an afro. She had an afro.
Unbelievable.
And I got a picture, Sam. I got all the articles, and even though there was tension some days, and she, oh y'all, let's come on, let's get it together. We was tired of practicing some days. We almost practiced 5 to 6 hours a day, and I mean, when we go for 3 hours, take a break, come back, and work out, and we was just wanting some days just kind of give up, but we was tired, but she would come on, y'all, let's see, go, we could make it, we could make it. And so everybody would pull their boots up in their heel, and we would come and practice and practice and practice until we get it right. And it paid off on the end. And I think we won that national championship for her.
Rest in peace. What kind of shoes did you wear?
We Converse.
I love it.
Listen, I had a pair of Converse when I was like in the 7th grade. My feet,
Wow.
I've been 6'1", and I've ever since I was in the 7th grade, and I wore size 10 shoe, and I wore them shoes for 6 years.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to hitchhike to a game from the hotel?
Yes.
I read that. I was like, what is the unbelievable?
So, my mother and father, when they separated, my mother was working, and she left the house at 4:30 in the morning. She was going to work. And when we got back from them games, we didn't have somebody sitting there waiting on us to take us home. So somebody, sometimes some of our parents or sisters came and picked us up, but sometimes, we had to hitchhike with some of the girls, and vice versa. We just kind of just made it the best way we could. That's what we did back in those days. It wasn't a easy day at the park. It was hard days back in those days, really hard. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Rick Barry talked about this when he came on our show, one of the top 75 players of all time, underhand free throw shooter, legendary for that. And he said how hard it was, and how the guys nowadays don't really understand how hard it was back in the day, even though they were great players and everyone knows the history of the game with Wilt and Bill and, Rick Barry and all those guys. But I can't even imagine being a woman of color playing professional basketball, in the late 70s, early 80s. And so I want to transition to the women of the WNBA. Obviously we had the ABL, before the WNBA. Yeah. And we've had a number of guests on the show that played both, in the early days of the WNBA, and then the last couple years of the ABL. And so what are your thoughts about the direction of women's professional basketball and intercollegiate basketball? Do you think things are going in the right direction? Are you proud of how you started things and where they're at now as we approach the 50th anniversary of Title IX?
I am so proud of them. I think what, I just wished I had been born 30 years.
Right.
Because, these young, even we was good athletes back in those days. They said I was one of the top post player in the history of the game, the top 5 in the history of the game. And we had good players, but these girls are so talented. They are multi-talented. You got 5 girls out there on the court can shoot the
Man,
shoot the, the
unbelievable.
lights out of the gym. Back in our days, we may have had, just, very few, but we played hard. But these girls are so talented. I think the game is going in the right direction. I think the women should be getting almost equal pay as men. There are some of the girls just as good as the guys, but because we're women, we still need to be paid. We still got to feed our family. We still got to pay bills. So it's a long time coming, but long as they keep looking in that direction, and I think they're doing an excellent job at giving them publicity and deals to make money in sales of cereal, whatever they're selling. They giving them endorsements, and so everything is so much better, because back when we played, I mean, you didn't hear, you made a Nancy Lieberman or
Right.
Blaze Jasky, they may have gotten a little money for endorsements, but all the other girls, we didn't get anything. So
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. And, in terms of advocacy,
yeah,
when anyone really now stands out for something that they believe in, whether it's Sue Bird, or Liz Cambage
yeah,
talking about mental health,
yeah,
you're not an outcast, and it's because of women like you and Lucy Harris, who we just
mhm,
lost.
yes,
One of the most amazing pioneers in the history of women's basketball, and the legends of the ball, and all of the people that came before, the incredible players that you talked about that are playing now.
yeah,
uh, it's now encouraged because of all of you to stand up for social injustice, or
yeah,
voter suppression, or any inequalities going on, in society. And so you should take a bow for what you did and how you laid the foundation for people to, do what they did in the 2020 election, changing 2 elections in Georgia,
yeah,
forcing Kelly Loeffler out as minority owner of the Atlanta Dream, which she had no business being a minority owner of a WNBA team, because
yeah,
of her views and lack of support and advocacy for, the almost 80% of women of color that represent the WNBA. So
yeah,
I think it's going in the right direction as well. And like you said, there's a lot that we need to continue to do to bridge that gap.
yeah. Look at the soccer team. Look what they just done. Equal pay.
Absolutely.
So things are moving. You just got to make sure that they be persistent.
Absolutely. And, I've said this on the show a lot. It's not up to people of color to fix the race issues in this country. It's up to the white people. And, we have to better educate ourselves as to the history of what transpired, not just in the slavery days, but, even at the start of Title IX, if you want to use that as the line of demarcation, as a starting point, and where we are now.
Mhm.
And with young girls in particular, and young girls of color, there's still not equal participation. There's still far too many girls and young women that quit. And we need to do a better job in that space as well.
Yeah, yeah, but sometimes, the girls of color, we we can try to do something to help ourselves and get better. And you're always getting beat on. You're always getting beat down. No matter if you go to this corner, you're trying to better yourself, but then you got teammates, you got other people that are pulling you down. And it's get to a point where they say, I'm tired. I'm going to do something else. It's
Yeah.
life has got to be better than this. And I when I played, it was sometimes, I got upset because uh some of the things that was going on with me. But I didn't I didn't want anybody to think that I thought I
Mhm.
was this great basketball player. I humbled myself. And even though I knew things was going on, I looked over a whole lot of things. And one thing you got to know is who you are. I knew I had a job to do when I went to Pinole and Stephen F. Austin. I was there to do a job. I was not there to coach. I was not there to worry about who liked me. I was not worried about who they're going to talk about me or who going to put me down or anything, or even the fans, or when I go places, who's going to call me name. I was just out there to play basketball and win because I hated to lose.
Well, and you definitely won a lot of games, and were a part of history on 3 levels. Well, 4 if you include high school. You know, the junior college level, the 4-year level, and the professional level. And then you know, your life after basketball. You've been a champion in the classrooms and on the hardwood in a different way, and it's amazing. Really is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes, I really my thing is I hate it so bad when I like in 2003 when I got injured, uh breaking up a fight at school, and I got
Oh,
11 bulging, ruptured, herniated discs in my
oh,
back, and 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 I had been refused medical treatment. I have been refused any kind of monetary for these injuries. I got fired from my job, and I got cut off my workers' comp in 4 months with 11 discs,
unbelievable.
bulging, herniated discs, 2 broken ribs, and I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything, and I was cut off workers' comp. In 11 years, they denied me any income. There may have been times I may have been homeless. I've been homeless because I had no income coming in. I had no car, and they came and repossessed my car, and nobody done anything to help me. And I tried in so many ways to get a lawyer to let them know that I have got injured on this job, and until today, I'm having trouble walking, standing. Uh, I, I can't even get my Social Security disability. They won't even give me that.
Was that a racial issue, or was that just?
It's a it's a racial issue. It's a racial issue. Everybody that got injured on their job, another lady got injured with me. What happened? She had 2 bulging discs rupture. Uh, they fixed her, gave her surgery, and she went back to work. I got 11 ruptured and bulging and herniated discs, 2 broken ribs, and I get 4 months of worker comp, and with nothing. For 11 years, I was denied any income.
There was a lawyer on this show. I'm going to reach out to her if that's okay with you,
I appreciate it.
and I will put her in touch with you.
Okay,
That's unacceptable.
that is, and I've been fighting them for the last I literally 18 years by myself because every time I get a lawyer, they buy him out. Even people have sold me out. You know, all I do know is I'm getting to the point where I barely can walk, and I'm in severe pain, 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Well, I'll do anything I can, and I'm going to reach out to her as soon as we're done today, and we'll see what we can have done, and I'll put her in touch with you for sure, because that's just, I mean,
It is.
clearly I have this show in large part because of the fact that we're an anti-racist equality podcast, and I'm by no means, as I've said before, an influencer, but
Uh-huh.
everybody, whether you're a known commodity or no one knows who you are from Adam, can be a connector.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to do is connect in any way that I can. We've helped people get off the streets who are homeless. We've raised thousands of dollars for people. This is just another example of the ridiculousness of the racial disparities when it comes to certain situations. And it's just intolerable.
I know. I got
And I'm
all of these
sorry for that. Yeah.
I got all of these honors, all of these basketball and stuff, and I'm getting like $835 a month because they will not give me my teachers when and it's just that I have done everything.
Well, I'll do anything I can. So have you
Uh-huh.
been to the Omaha Zoo? Great.
My husband is from Omaha.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes.
Is that where you guys met when you were playing for the
Yeah.
Wranglers?
I'm playing for the Wranglers.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, hold on a second. So wait, did he just watch you play and or did you know him through a mutual friend or?
No, we was out at the club one night, and I was sitting over there, and he come ask me to dance, and I got up and danced, and then as we were leaving, he my friend said, "Rosie, get his phone number." I said, "No." And so
Wow.
she went when we left the club. She went in the parking lot looking for him to get his Peggy Pope.
Oh, wow. What a story.
Mm.
What's been the biggest success to your marriage?
My children.
Mm.
Uh, I just, I thought having being a mother, I just love those children. I love being a mother. I love feeding them. I love bathing them. I love folding their clothes. They
Mm.
were such a joy. Little Mike never gave me a minute of trouble, but that oldest boy, he gives trouble, but I know how to whip him back in line.
Oh, I love it. What's your favorite food?
Oh, my favorite food is ribs.
Ooh, love the rib. What's your second favorite food?
My second favorite food is hamburgers.
Ooh, I just had a turkey burger the other day. I love it. Favorite women's player of all time?
The favorite woman player of all time, I would go Pat Summit.
Wow, that's
Because
amazing.
Pat, when I played for Pat, and she was saying, if you don't post up right, I'm gonna come post up. And Hollywood said, when she posts you up, your nose and everything gonna be bleeding, your teeth and everything gonna be bleeding when she get through.
I mean, we always heard stories about Pat Summit and how tough she was, fair, but how tough she was as a coach. But wow, as a player, man, don't mess with Pat. She will, man. That is great.
She literally made us battle in the post area. We battled for those positions on the Pan American Olympic team. We literally
Mm.
battled for the position. Even though I was 6'1", I had to play against girls 6'8", 6'5", 6'3". I was the shortest of everybody, and I mean, we battled for those positions.
Did you know she was going to go on to be such a successful coach?
Yes, because
Mm.
you know what? But she had a way with her finesse of coaching, and she didn't care who she recruited. She saw something that you could do to help her team.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't get out there and play but 5 or 6 minutes, if they need 3 points and you got 3 points, they didn't have 3 pointers, and you need 2 points from a long distance. She had a girl sitting on that bench out there on the floor could do it for her. And she could just look at you and tell what kind of player you can be. And she knew exactly where to position you and place you on that basketball court.
Well, and we know the rest of the story now, don't we?
I just hate, her and Sue Gunner,
Oh, there's a lot of them.
they ate and drink basketball. It was in their vein.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really was. Someone else that I thought of that was playing in the WBL back in the day who just retired from Notre Dame was Muffet McGraw. No one knew about her back then, and then she went on to be the coach at Notre Dame and had so much success. But she was just a feisty little guard.
Do you know most good athletes don't make very good coaches?
Why do you think that is?
You know what? I have no earthly idea. No, but I have never seen somebody that really successful basketball player coaching.
Yeah.
A star player, I never seen it.
Well, I think on the women's side, you're going to see more successful coaches. But if you look at like
Oh, yeah.
Larry Bird, Magic
We did.
Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, we have historic women's coaches coaching now, not only in the NBA but in the WNBA.
Uh-huh.
Ednisha Curry for the Portland Trailblazers, Becky Hammon for the Las Vegas Aces. So
Yeah.
that's progress for sure.
Yeah, that's progress.
So the Reuben was invented. The Reuben sandwich was invented in Omaha, Nebraska. Do you like Reubens?
The Reuben sandwich. Do I like Reuben? What is Reuben?
It's got like sauerkraut and
Oh,
you
what
know,
we used to call sauerkraut. We call
yes.
it sauerkraut. Yeah, I liked it when I was growing up, but I don't like it now.
Who is your favorite men's player of all time?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's where I got my hook from.
Ooh,
Mimicking
abs-
him.
and he's been very outspoken his whole life about a lot of things too. So off the court, he's
Oh
done
yeah,
amazing things in that area. Favorite
yeah.
TV show or movie of all time?
My favorite TV show is The Waltons. And
Wow, not the Brady Bunch, huh? Or not eight?
no,
Not eight is enough. The Waltons.
no, The Waltons. I still watch The Waltons, Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, I used to love Little House on the Prairie. I couldn't get enough of that show. So wait, you've been married a long time. So and you sort of answered this earlier. So vacuuming, dishes, or laundry, which one did you prefer?
All of them. I loved all of it.
Did you what was your favorite dish to cook for the family?
Spaghetti,
Wow. With garlic bread and salad?
garlic bread, and salad. And little Mike always liked the baked potato. I said, boy, you gonna start showing up out here.
Uh I love it. Did music impact you at any time in your life?
Who?
Any kind of music? Was there any kind of music that you just loved growing up or as you got older?
I used to love disco music.
Wow.
I love to dance. And then when I got older, I got saved. I got into church. I'm strictly gospel.
Mm. Oh man, I've been to a Baptist church. It is an experience of a lifetime.
I'm telling you.
Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah,
incredible. Wait, waffles, French toast, or pancakes?
pancakes.
What kind of
40
pancakes?
today.
Wait, what kind of pancakes though?
Oh, the Eggo pancakes.
I love it. So obviously your son played professional football. What are your favorite memories of watching him or just of football in general?
My favorite, I remember one day they looked like didn't start and they started him and he got like 17 tackles, 14 or 17 tackles in one game. And I can remember screaming and hollering during the whole game. And I was so excited. That is my favorite memory of football. I'm not a person that like football.
Yeah.
My son played. I don't like sitting outside in the cold. I'm an indoor person.
Oh,
I
I
used to
love
go
it.
to my games, and when he was in college, I wave, and high school wave, and I leave and go back home. Or go back to a hotel or a dorm and clean up until the game is on the end. Then I go back to the game like I've been there the whole game.
I love it. And for those of you that think women's basketball is boring or the rim should be lowered, even though I do think the rim should be lowered slightly, I think it would make the game more exciting. But people disagree with me. I mean, the women's game is so exciting, and I cannot wait for March Madness. I'm so excited to watch March Madness this year.
I mean, some of those little girls, point guard
Oh,
in there, how do they get those shots up there?
it's
How do they make
unbelievable.
those shots?
And no, it's truly incredible.
Yeah.
So if you could have any five people at your dinner table, last question, past or present, dead or alive, but it can't be anyone that you've ever known. What five people would be at your dinner table, past or present, dead or alive?
Um, I have Dr. Martin Luther King,
Mm.
President Obama,
Who'd be the first female?
Pat Summit, and Sue Gunner.
Well, that would be
My
fascinating.
mother and my father. Oh, no, I know them.
Well, you know Sue also, but I'll give you one that you're allowed to know.
Okay.
So Sue's the one you know. Well, Pat, you
Okay.
sort of knew, but that's
I
fine.
started.
We'll
I really,
yeah.
just
Everyone always tells me I should ask this question in the beginning so you have time to think about it.
yeah. Yeah, let me see.
What about Michelle Obama?
Yeah, Michelle. Oh, I didn't know I could do both of them. Michelle
Oh,
Obama.
heck yeah, absolutely.
And Michelle Obama, and I would have Aretha Franklin.
There we go. Respect, man.
Yes.
And definitely got the utmost respect for you and for all the women of the WBL and what you've stood for your entire life, not just during your professional and collegiate career. Truly an incredible journey. And like I said earlier, I'll do anything I can to help with your situation. But anything else that you want to share that we didn't go over that you want people to know about you and your family and your journey?
I just want everybody to know that find your your gift and your talent and your purpose for being here, and to learn to love people and meet people where they are, and learn kind words to speak to people, because we go through enough as a human being, as a per people anyway. And make sure the road that you're going to travel in life, make sure that at the end of the road or at the end of your life, that people have kind things and lovely things to say about you and hate that you're gone, instead of saying you this or that, a murderer or a liar. And make sure that whatever you do in life, make sure that you love people regardless of race, color, creed, fat, skinny, tall. Make sure love is the greatest gift. It's easy to love. And we all have different roads in life to travel. Some have traveled a bed of roses, some have tried a road called up and down, and some have traveled a road called weather the storm. Whatever road you travel, make sure you're your best person and love people in process.
Well, you took the road less traveled, and it's been a magical journey. And you were the best version of yourself and your authentic self, because you followed your inner voice and your passions, and then you certainly paid it forward. To make others the best versions of themselves, and that is the ultimate compliment.
Okay, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I certainly have enjoyed this interview.
Yes, it's truly been my honor. Much love and the utmost respect, and definitely be in touch with you in the next couple of days. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the famous Rosie Walker, one of the original women of the WBL, the first ever professional women's basketball league in the history of the United States, the original W. Much love. Thanks for sharing space with us today. We truly hoped you enjoyed that amazing interview. Remember, everyone, Black Lives Matter. Stop the bullying. Stop the Asian hate. Contact your local and state politicians for any inequalities, for any individual or any group that's being marginalized. Also, everyone, we want to raise awareness for those individuals that are currently imprisoned for non-violent offenses, in particular those with long-term sentences that are disproportionate, in particular to those people in the Black and brown community. And I want to send a shout out to 40tons.co. 40 Tons is a socially conscious cannabis brand, and they're a social enterprise using the regulated cannabis industry to fight injustice, in particular for cannabis prisoners. So check them out again at 40, the number 4, the number 0, tons, plural, 40tons.co, because what they're doing in the cannabis space and being a socially conscious company is truly incredible, and they have my full support. And also wanted to remind all of you, if you're having a tough time, you can always call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and that number is 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, and they are available 24/7, 365 days a year. You can also always check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok at Mike Hootner. Thanks again to our amazing sponsors, Breaking Tea, Sport RX, PSK Collective, City Lokes, and Moolah Kicks, which you can see right here up on the screen. You can search them online at breakingtea.com, sportrx.com, pskcollective.com, moolahkicks.com, and citylokes.com. And if you'd like to support us at the Sports Deli, we'd love to have you either make a one-time donation or feel free to make a donation monthly, either 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, or $9.99 a month. If you have questions about that, send me an email again to thesportsdeli@gmail.com, and I will send you the link on how you can do that. You can also find it at the bottom of every podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Link at the bottom to support the show. Please check out our website at thesportsdelypodcast.com. Make sure that we continue the conversations with regards to 3 strikes and you're out and mandatory minimums, especially people that are in jail for nonviolent offenses. So those things need to change. Until next time, remember it takes a village. For Dr. J and Coach K, I'm Hootie Hoot. This has been a production of Hootie Hoot Productions. Thank you for joining us in the Sports Deli, where everyone deserves a seat at the table. Remember, it takes a village. Much love, everybody. Peace.